stories that are gonna come out is definitely going to be disgusting. And I know some of you sickos are going to like it. Alright class, settle down and let me tell you a story. We've already finished the broad strokes for Trenchcrusade's lore. Why don't we check out the rest of the factions that make up its world? If you want more, please let me know in the comments, and while you're there, please like, share, subscribe, do the whole notification button thing to help me out with the algo, and here we go. Alright, you guys, we are now checking out the bad guys. This is grim dark. There's no such thing as good guys here, but we're quote unquote checking out the Heretic Legion, or the forces of evil traditionally. Well, let's go.
It is a stark truth that a third of humanity has bowed down to the idols of hell. The primary earthly military force of Satan, the Heretic Legions, is composed of individuals drawn from these condemned souls. Those who have witnessed the war-torn lands inhabited by the Heretic Legion describe the grand idols of the golden calf and the fervent people who bow before them, offering themselves as sacrifices in violent rituals. In their cities, towering structures of iron and black stone stretch down into deep pits. Inside, sacrificial altars are set up where captives endure prolonged suffering over days and weeks, with harsh tools made from dark.
So captives are sacrificed, not themselves? Is that it?
Infernal materials. Majestic cathedrals dedicated to the princes of hell are supported by massive volcanic arches, while the condemned are displayed on inverted crosses. Becoming part of the army of damnation is a formidable challenge. To secure a spot among the Heretic Legions, one must undertake a journey to the gates of hell. From even a great distance, the intense fiery heat radiating from this immense structure scorches both body and soul. Those who reach the vicinity of Hell's Maw are deemed worthy and are admitted into the legions. They pledge unyielding oaths that bind them to the darkness forever, their bodies marked with the devil's sigil,
what happens to regular forces?
Their eternal allegiance. Some individuals,
or is this their special forces,
push beyond the gate. Their flesh ignites in the process, never to heal, but those with the darkest souls can enter the very inferno itself. These anointed are held in the highest regard within the legions, having traversed the cursed path of the shores of the lake of eternal flame, where the damned suffer endlessly. The anointed return forever marked by the abyssal flames. Their scorched and blackened flesh remains permanently damaged, but in return they are allowed to don heavy Gehenna armor and gain the strength to wield weapons that would be impossible for an average man to wield. Although the majority of the Heretic Legions consist of mortal humans, Hell frequently dispatches its own repugnant offspring to bolster the ranks of these human soldiers. In this accursed battlefield, mortals and abominations advance together, united by the torment of their damnation.
Alright, let's check out their units.
Making up the majority of the Heretic army, Heretic troopers have seen the gates of hell and
survived, these are the regulars,
damning them for all eternity. Heavily armored and protected assault troopers, the anointed heavy infantry have scorched and blistered skin from their ritual journey.
But what would be the point if you do win? This is what you're going to be for the rest of eternity. What would be the point? Because here's the thing, right? Warhammer 40k, you're fighting for either side. Right now, I am reading False Gods. Horus gets struck by false gods, but at the very least, there's a point to the madness, or there's a point, or there's a purpose to it, which is to create a better world. Why would you fight for something that's not here to create a better world? Horus thinks that he's making a better world. He's going up against the Emperor to make a better world, whether true or not. If it's true, I am not sure. But check this out, it's hell. It's not going to make a better world. It's not for, a better place for your children. So what would be the point fighting for it? You're going to be like this for the rest of eternity. But then again, I am trying to apply logic where there is none. But you know what? Let's keep going.
Needs to hell and back. Warwolf assault beasts charge through the miles of barbed wire to clear paths for the Heretic infantry. Their designed head is built to slice through the obstacles effortlessly. Artillery witches roam the battlefields, launching munitions created in the death factories of Hell's third circle. They are entirely silent, and their faces have never been seen, with speculation that they may not even be alive. They can summon an endless supply of infernal bombs from a self-conjured portal to hell.
Be king of the graveyard?
From a young age. A chosen few heretic youths are sent beyond the gates of hell to be trained as death commandos. Residing in the 7th circle of the Inferno, they receive instructions in the lethal arts of assassination from the souls of history's most notorious killers who are trapped in hell. Additionally, they are taught martial skills by the elite.
What was that? It showed up on Netflix based on a visual novel series where they were trained by serial killers. They were all trained to be assassins. Wong, the actor named Wong, was there. I forgot the name of that show on Netflix, but it was a pretty cool concept that they were being trained to be assassins. You know, they're all members of the Yakuza. They're all members of the Russian mafia or the Italian mafia, the Mexican cartels. And they were being trained by literal serial killers and, you know, similar people like that by political assassins. Anyways, I think it was canceled for some reason, but the only thing I remember from it was that the character that depicted Wong and Doctor Strange was there.
Guards of Archdevil Baelith, and their Tartarus claws are drenched in lethal poison from the waters of the River Styx. At the conclusion of their training, the tongues...
Isn't the River Styx Greek? From Greek mythology? Not sure, please put it down in the comments.
...of the death commandos are ceremonially removed, that they may never share the tortures they've endured. Instead of speaking, they use a sophisticated system of cryptic hand signals to communicate with one another. Among the most notorious death commandos are Cain, the man who committed the first murder by killing his brother Abel, Barabbas, the murderer whom a crowd chose to free over Jesus Christ before the Lord's crucifixion, and Haman, the man who attempted to have all of the Jews in the Persian Empire killed before he was stopped by Queen Esther. It is unknown if the three men in the lore are exactly the same as their biblical namesakes. These three men, in the year of our Lord 1894, executed the Supreme Pontiff, the High Prophetess Aliyah, and the Holy Roman Emperor in a coordinated strike. This caused chaos within the church forces and enabled the legions to swiftly advance across the Levant and Europe. Due to the YouTube terms of service, I won't be going over the choristers. If you'd like to know more, you may look them up in the lore primer in the comments. Once you read up on them, you'll understand why I didn't include them in this video. The leaders of the Heretic army's warbands, the Heretic priest is one who wields various dark magics, invoking terrifying demons and creatures through goetic spells. Typically, they are bound to a demon lord in hell. The profane gospels they chant instill such fear in church forces that they can cause physical damage to the faithful.
That's something. The warbands. So they're mercenaries, correct?
The Heretic fleet functions as a semi-autonomous force, led by its high captain and various admirals. The Heretics maintain their own marine infantry, which frequently operates in small groups to penetrate deep into enemy territory and carry out hit-and-run missions. They are constantly searching for captives, loot, intelligence, supplies, rare artifacts, and opportunities to showcase their cruelty and savagery. One of the most fascinating units in the trenchcrusade universe. Trench ghosts are the results of heretic troopers dying on sacred ground or in the presence of an untainted holy relic, causing them to become ensnared between realms. Belonging to neither heaven or hell, these trench ghosts become undead, attacking both the faithful and heretics alike while following orders that no living being can hear. Their faces are obscured by gas masks that serve no purpose for them anymore.
So I guess this is their version of the Krieg Deathcore.
Their bodies and minds are condemned to endure the horrors of war forever. Legends speak of numerous trench ghost warbands that haunt no man's land, but the most renowned are known as the Ghosts of Tannenberg.
Trench pilgrims. Wait, are they some sort of a mercenary force or a neutral force until they're hired or something? Is that how they work? Like either side can utilize them?
As the faithful wage war against the forces of hell, some individuals find themselves touched by heaven itself, gifted visions and revelations. Sisters of the Holy Orders, marked by stigmata, wield both sword and cross as guided by angels, as others seeking to atone for their sins aim to drag as...
See, this is just gratuitous. They've been touched by the stigmata, which is just their hands. Why are their titties out?
Many followers of the devil...
Yeah, they don't need to have their boobs out for this one.
...as possible with them into the afterlife. Thus, trench pilgrim processions have formed containing the deranged and the wounded, the divinely touched and the guilt-ridden. These disorganized groups follow the prophets of the Lord to the front lines, fighting with unmatched fervor. Most of the pilgrims are individuals with little military training, but once they don the iron capirote of a trench pilgrim, they can confront even the most fearsome demons. Death does not always end their mission either. Occasionally, the seventh Metachrist may judge a fallen pilgrim as worthy and resurrect them as martyr penitents, beings which exist between heaven and earth and are capable of fighting without feeling pain. Each procession maintains its own unique characteristics. The Path of Pious Revenge, dedicated to Saint Olga, employs flamethrowers, incendiary grenades, and burning ammunition. The Pilgrims of the Iron Path, who follow Saint Rita of Cassia, arm themselves with hammers, mauls, maces, and cudgels, and drive nails into their own heads to honor their saint.
What?
The Theban Legion of
Totally
Rome,
unnecessary.
devoted to Saint Maurice, engages in combat with swords and other blades.
Units, okay.
A formidable leader, war prophets are inspired by visions of Armageddon. Their sermons and prophecies motivate the pilgrims to move from one battlefield to another, aiming to counter the forces of Satan and achieve martyrdom through combat. Assigned with instilling the fear of God among the troops, castigators are officers of orthodoxy, whom ensure that the soldiers remain righteous while disciplining those who stray. They are shielded by their steadfast faith and the saints they venerate. Communicants are individuals who have ingested the flesh and blood of a Metachrist, empowering themselves with the divine essence, causing them to increase in size and for
Can someone put down what's a Metachrist?
Their wounds to begin healing miraculously. Even though they are blinded, their vision is remarkably enhanced, with blessed crosses nailed through their eyes.
So more like a Book of Eli sort of deal here. By the way, cool movie by the Book of Eli, Denzel Washington. You guys should check it out.
To signify this blessing. On the battlefield, they serve as line breakers and protectors for prophets and castigators. A sacred warrior of the trenches, a trench pilgrim believes it is his spiritual duty to journey to holy battlefields and combat the heretic legions. Either captured foes of the true faith or volunteer sinners. Ecclesiastic prisoners are...
Alright, the volunteer sinners, I definitely understand. Is that a mortar strapped to his back? It's a mortar round, right? So he's some sort of a suicide unit?
Chained individuals who advance through the Great War with the fervent hope that their sacrificial charge will somehow purify their corrupted souls. They charge in with an explosive device to bring forth an explosive martyrdom, although some manage to survive the blast and continue the battle. The stigmatic nuns are devoted holy sisters who bear the stigmata, wounds identical to those of the third Metachrist whom they revere. Stigmatas are physical wounds, scars, and pain that manifest in places mirroring the crucifixion wounds of Jesus Christ, with the most well-documented stigmatic of our world being that of Saint Padre Pio. The stigmatic nuns excel in close combat, and their devotion to suffering turns their wounds into a source of power beyond that of ordinary humans. They venture across no man's land without fear, praying for wounds that honor the Redeemer, which then transform them into instruments of divine vengeance. A massive suit of armor, powered by diesel and faith, shrine anchorites are towering metal giants, standing about 12 to 15 feet tall, serving as formidable war altars, nearly impervious to damage. Inside, the anchorite is lined with spikes and barbed hooks, keeping the monk pilot in a continual state of suffering, which they embrace to mirror the pain of their lord.
What? So there's a guy bleeding to death and constantly in pain inside this thing. Wow.
The outside is adorned with religious icons, sacred relics, and prayer scrolls, all in line with the customs of the Pilgrim sect to which the anchorite is dedicated. Hundreds of these battle machines were created under Saint Methodius' supervision, but the knowledge of their creation has been lost since the monastery was ruined by a death commando attack. Upon the passing of the monk or the nun whom pilots the anchorite, whether by battle or by age, the remains are carefully collected and preserved in reliquaries attached to the anchorite, turning each of these war machines into a tribute to its enduring history of combat against the forces of hell. Each anchorite wields an adamantine Catherine wheel and a bonebreaker mace to unleash divine wrath upon sinners, heretics, and apostates. As an act of devotion and penance, it is a widespread tradition for trench pilgrims or stigmatic nuns to be broken by the wheel and spend their final battle mounted upon it.
So this dude right here is a volunteer. Wow.
This act symbolizes their readiness.
This grim really gets dark.
To endure suffering for their sins and is believed to provide spiritual protection to the anchorite. Although the church disapproves of this practice, pilgrims eagerly gather around their anchorites before any battle, hoping to earn the privilege of dying on the wheel.
Alright, here come the mercenaries.
Trench pilgrims from the procession of the Sacred Affliction are renowned for their ability in close quarters combat. Their armor is adorned with religious icons, and their shields display images of the saints, which are resistant to machine gun fire. They carry millstones on their backs, which they use to bind around the neck of sinners before submerging them in the mud and blood of no man's land. They also do not cover their faces, believing that faith alone is sufficient to face the terrors of hell.
Yeah.
The cavalcade of the 10th plague, named after the final plague in the book of Exodus, which brought about the death of Egypt's firstborn sons, traditionally sacrifices lambs before engaging in battle, using its blood to anoint themselves as a means of protecting against divine wrath. Devoutly adhering to the traditional interpretation of the holy texts, they reject the new doctrines introduced by the Metachrist. Additionally, they capture communicants from other processions and compel them to fight for them as penance for being born out of sin.
The cult of the Black Grail. Are they fighting for the good guys or the bad guys?
Beelzebub, the Lord of Flies, is distinct from other
Black
Hell Lords
Grail.
who primarily operate through their mortal agents. When he rises to dominance in the fierce conflicts among the Archfiends, he unleashes his most lethal curse, the Black Grail. The Black Grail harbors a relentless enmity towards all living things, infecting nearly all biological material and causing it to erupt with tumors and boils. It annihilates the body while leaving the mind intact to endure the agony. Despite intense efforts by the church's scientist priests and the Sultanate's alchemists to find a cure for this vile disease, they have so far been unsuccessful. The only known remedy is to incinerate the infected settlements with specially designed flamethrower tanks that use consecrated oil as fuel. If this method is not employed, infected bodies of humans, horses, dogs, insects, and various animals rise again, driven by a demonic force to carry out Beelzebub's will, forming warbands to seek out and infect other life forms, and collect valuable items and gruesome trophies, which they present at the feet of Beelzebub's idols. Leading these warbands are the Knights of the Order of the Fly, degenerate individuals that willingly accept the Black Grail and whose devotion is deemed adequate by Beelzebub. In return, they receive weapons, armor, and gear tainted by the Archfiend's influence, in exchange for sacrifices made at the altars of Beelzebub.
Okay.
The Black Grail's malevolent influence emanates from Beelzebub, the Lord of Flies. It propagates through the insects he spawned in the 7th layer of Hell, unleashing a deluge of his vile essence through demonic pests, virulent infections, tainted insects, plagues, and other corruptions that desecrate both body and soul. Among those unfortunate enough to fall under the Black Grail's sway, some are tragically transformed into grotesque winged insects
so they're
composed of
human-sized.
bloated flesh through a harrowing fusion with hellflies. This agonizing transformation renders them heralds of Beelzebub, serving as winged scouts for the Order of the Fly. Heralds stand as the vanguards for the Black Grail, their resonant wing buzz instilling profound terror in their adversaries, eroding their concentration and resolve. They wield ancient weapons teeming with demonic worms that disseminate disease. Each tainted bullet possesses a sinister sentience, seeking out any fissure in the...
So they're human-sized and then they spread disease. Just like Papa Nurgle in 40k?
Enemy's armor in order to penetrate the nervous system and infect its target. There are some individuals whom, upon the arrival of the Black Grail, called out to Beelzebub, hoping that the Lord of Flies will spare them if they offer worship and servitude. These individuals' pleas are ignored. However, a handful of mortals, extremely rare, truly embrace Beelzebub's vision of a world ending in a rotting, parasite-infested mass, perpetually plagued by the Black Grail's curse. Among these twisted souls, the most depraved are selected to join the ranks of the unholy Order of the Fly. Those souls are known as Plague Knights. Plague Knights rise through the Order of the Fly by transforming as many living beings as they can, which increases the
I'm gonna pronounce plague as plague from now on.
Their rank and earns them more favor from Beelzebub. Of the most renowned Plague Knights, there exists a dozen, a number which exists in mockery of the church's paladins, and they are honored as the Fly's top champions. They live in Ekron, Beelzebub's city, a horrifying place that even heretic lords stay away from. Most individuals who are infected with the Black Grail are turned into Grail thralls, joining the vast army of hollow, infected beings who are doomed to serve the Black Grail's nobles forever, suffering from numerous supernatural afflictions. A high-ranking official, the Lord of Tumors spreads decay and corruption to both allies and enemies. They enter a trance-like state to communicate with the Lord of Flies and are able to channel the power of the Seventh Circle of Hell. Only the most resilient human followers can endure the blessings of the Black Grail. Those who succeed are elevated to the Corpse Guard, serving as elite bodyguards to the Black Grail's nobility. Should they prove their worth through exceptional service, they may eventually be granted entry into the ranks of the...
Holy crap, I can imagine that the lore or the fanfic or the official stories that are gonna come out is definitely going to be disgusting. And I know some of you sickos are going to like it.
The infernal nobility. Decayed canine carcasses infested with maggots and flies, the Hounds of the Black Grail carry out the faction's unholy mission. Their purpose is to roam no man's land, spreading disease and plague in the name of their dark master. An amalgam is a huge mass composed of dozens of infected fallen warriors, insects, mammals, and other living creatures that fell victim to the Black Grail's torment. These monstrous forms move across the battlefield like immense, bloated heaps of disease.
The Iron Sultanate. Alright, let's check these people out. Whose side are they on?
Following the opening of the gates of hell, a summons was issued to those who held the Islamic faith, leading to a mass migration across Europa, Asia, and Africa over the following decades. Millions died along the way and at sea, as heretics attacked them like locusts consuming a field, devouring them and constructing dreadful monuments from their remains, preventing proper burial as prescribed in their holy texts. Once the survivors arrived, the great gates of Al-Quran were shut, and the great sultanate of the invincible iron wall of the two horns that pierced the sky was established. Despite the ongoing conflict to defend the walls of the Sultanate, which leads to new martyrs each day and night, the Sultanate thrives within the walls. From mosques of white marble and gold, the muezzins summon the faithful to pray for the success of the Sultan's army as it fights to safeguard their territory. Although there is an agreement between the Church and the Sultanate to fight together against the armies of hell, in the Sultanate, there is a profound resentment towards the infidels who unleashed Gog and Magog upon the world.
Here come the units.
Military expeditions across the Great Iron Wall into No Man's Land are led by field officers known as Yuzbashi, chosen solely on merit rather than family background or wealth, often promoted from the
why does this thing have boobs or tits? Why?
Janissary Corps. Enhanced by Jabreen alchemical arts and mystic conditioning, Yuzbashi face enemies fearlessly, as their mental hardening makes them indifferent to pain and ruthless in battle. They are equipped with exceptional armor made of meteoric iron, silver-gilded carbines with alchemical ammunition, and kill-edged swords inscribed with golden calligraphy. The most formidable carry hand cannons that also serve as halberds and may wear cloaks of their greatest kills, such as chimeras, to protect against Shaitan's power. Success earns Yuzbashi the Sultan's favor, bringing honor, Damascus steel weaponry, and access to Jabreen alchemical wonders. Hunting is also esteemed among their ranks, and artificial birds of prey and automaton hounds are used as effective weapons of war alongside the Yuzbashi.
Wait, why does the artificial bird of prey have boobs? Why does it have tits? Why does it need tits?
Alchemists are mystical practitioners of the Great Sultanate of the Iron Wall, trained in the House of Wisdom. Admission is open to anyone with necessary will and intellect.
No, seriously, what's this? What's this dude behind her?
Regardless of gender. Candidates face numerous trials on their way to mastery. Only after 7 years of rigorous study under the scrutiny of the High Alchemagi can an aspiring alchemist attempt the 3 trials required to achieve full membership in the Order. The first trial involves crafting a suit of the alchemist's armor adorned with the Seals of Solomon, allowing the alchemist to guard against even the grand mechanisms of hell. The second trial is to craft a Takwin servant, a homunculus imbued with artificial life and intelligence. This being will serve as a living tool for the alchemist.
Human. Thank God that this thing behind her is not human to begin with. Oh my God, I thought she transformed some sort of a human. I thought it was some sort of full metal alchemist brotherhood or full metal alchemist thing was going on where they mixed a human being with some sort of an animal. Okay.
Though it resembles a small human, it can alter its body into a near-liquid state, allowing it to navigate alchemical chambers, even in extreme temperatures and dense poisonous fumes. Many aspirants fail at this stage, resulting in a malformed creature emerging from its golden celestial sphere, filled with animosity towards its creator.
Of course.
This monstrous failure will burrow into the alchemist's body, destroying their would-be master. The final test involves opening the third eye, which grants cosmic insight and the ability to perceive the fundamental elements of creation. Those who fail this test undergo horrific transformations. They are doomed to spend the remainder of their lives in torment, constantly screaming about the terrifying, unseen horrors now revealed to them. Out of compassion,
why would we think
alchemists
any
who fail
different that everything was going to be fine?
This manner are often put down, though rumors persist of secret groups keeping these unfortunate beings alive for mysterious reasons. An alchemist who has successfully completed all 3 trials is a master of the arcane arts, able to control elements, craft mechanical devices, create artificial life, and develop weapons of immense destructive power. The Janissaries are the elite warriors of the Sultanate. They are made up of the young captured during raids beyond the wall,
royal guards
and undergo
then.
stringent military training and indoctrination into elite warriors. Through spiritual and alchemical methods, their minds are subtly controlled and conditioned to ensure absolute and unyielding loyalty to the Sultan alone. Their physical traits are enhanced by powerful potions made by using the mystical Jabrian arts. Their elaborate armor is made from a special metal formula derived by the Sultanate's alchemists. They are safeguarded by strong talismans created by the blind thaumaturgists from the school of the meteoric omen. Equipped with Jezzail rifles, hand mortars, Yatagan blades, and a deep-seated devotion, the Janissaries are truly formidable adversaries. Deep beneath the golden gardens of Damascus, one can encounter the great alchemists of the Sultanate. Through the Jabrian technique known as Takwin, alchemists can generate artificial life, crafting a variety of bizarre and marvelous creatures and automatons.
Bizarre
it is in
and
this place
marvelous
and through
creatures.
these means that the Sultanate crafts the dreaded Lions of Jabir. Named after the fierce hunters of the plains, the Lions of Jabir can take on various forms. Each one is a unique creation, crafted according to the skills and artistry of the Jabrian scientist who designed it. The arcane techniques used by the alchemists come from the studying of the forbidden books of Solomon, and many alchemists lose their lives when their experiments go awry. Designing the Lions of Jabir is a challenging task with numerous variables to manage, leading to frequent deformities. The most tragic
So this is what happens to the alchemists when they mess up their experiments.
cases are those lions who experience profound existential anguish as they come to understand the terrifying nature of their unnatural creation. The Lions of Jabir are formidable adversaries and serve as the frontline force of the Sultanate's army. The Sultan himself is protected by a personal retinue of 77 colossal Lions of Jabir. Their speed and ferocity are nearly unparalleled, and some possess unusual abilities due to their alchemical origins. Many are adorned with armor fused into their flesh, crafted with alchemical metals, inscribed with mysterious symbols, and elaborately decorated by the alchemists to conceal any flaws in their design. Ghost Wolves, the Secret Knives, and the Sultan's Wrath.
Alright, so
These
the
are the many
Assassin's
names
Guild.
of the Sultanate Assassins, a legendary order of mystic warriors feared for their esoteric skills and ruthlessness. Though the Ismaili sect of assassins is considered heretical by many within the Iron Wall, a pact with the Sultan ensures they often serve in the Sultanate's warbands. These assassins possess the ability to manipulate space and time through sacred rituals and potent hallucinogens, allowing them to appear in multiple places at once, strike with incredible
So, yeah, definitely expired by the early Hashashin. Okay.
speed, and retreat in a flash. Their enhancements through powerful chemicals and potions makes them significantly taller, faster, and stronger than ordinary men. They carry out their duties in
Yep, Hashashins imbued with Astartes body, or whatever you may call it, Astartes build.
service to the Sultan, executing
Where are the
ritualistic
regular
holy
units?
murders of his enemies. While skilled with various weapons, they prefer poison blades crafted in alamut. These blades are coated with
Alamut.
supreme poison, known as the Milk of Manat or the Cup of Death, which guarantees death upon contact with unprotected skin. Young assassins are raised in deep underground chambers on a bitter, toxin-rich diet that increases their poison tolerance. Their blood is
Toxin-rich
used to create
diet.
poisonous iron, which is forged into deadly blades with enchantments. The Sultanate's vast lands allow for the raising of large armies from its many
So these are the
provinces,
regulars.
with one household in 20 required to equip a soldier, known as an Azeb. An Azeb, meaning unmarried, serve as light infantry on land and sea and defend the Great Iron Wall against heretic attacks. For elite missions beyond the wall, volunteers are called upon, drawn by the promise of fame and valuable loot. Azebs use varied weaponry due to their lack of access to the elite arms and armor reserved for higher-ranking troops. They commonly carry jazales with distinctive curved stocks, which are handmade and can be loaded with different types of ammunition, including rough bullets, iron nails, or alchemical silvers from the Great Iron Wall. Other weapons include curved daggers, scimitars, pistols, and sappers' tools. The Zebs are seen as expendable, with their deaths considered a path to paradise.
Yep.
Despite the high casualty rate and the harsh conditions in the trenches, new recruits eagerly enlist for the chance to serve the Sultan, fight the enemy, and return home with glory and riches. The Sultan's sappers are tasked with operating the cannons of the Iron Wall.
So,
due to the tendency of their powerful artillery to overheat, they are often marked by severe burns across their bodies. Many have perished while manning their guns, succumbing to the intense heat and smoke. Protected by the Iron Wall, the Sultanate has long excelled in artillery. However, the heavy siege guns on the wall are impractical for smaller expeditionary forces. In the year 821 of the Hijra, Sultan Bayezid III commissioned a new form of living field artillery. The Jabreen scientists of the Royal Artillery House, after centuries of experimentation, created the Brazen Bull.
So this is a living form of artillery? But why? Why?
Or Boha, a powerful creature of war. The Brazen Bull, equipped with heavy artillery like flame cannons and volley guns, and blessed with holy blades, is designed to be an unstoppable force of nature. The Brazen Bull is covered in intricately adorned bronze armor with thrice-hardened scales, inscribed with protective talismans and blessings. On the battlefield, beyond the Iron Wall, it is a fearsome and imposing presence. Acting as a steadfast, unyielding shield and tower, it leads the Sultanate's forces.
Oh, the warbands. Alright, let's check out the Mercenaries.
The Iron Sultanate and the assassin fortress of Alamut have a pact where the Sultan receives the services of the highly skilled assassins in exchange for Alamut's autonomy. While the assassins are known for their work with the Sultanate's forces, they also conduct secretive missions in no man's land. Led by Rashid al-Din Sinan, the ruler of Alamut, these missions are assigned through dreams rather than direct communication.
Assigned through dreams, that is something.
Called Fidei undertake these covert operations with a master assassin and 2 experienced members, accompanied by trainee acolytes. The purpose of these missions remains unknown. Alamut also houses a renegade sect of Ijmaili dervishes, warrior monks who join these missions as a form of piety and payment for their shelter.
Now that is something.
And there we have it.
Okay.
The entirety of the lore from the Trenchcrusade universe, from the original lore primer and playtest rules. I hope you guys found this as interesting as I did, and that this video was helpful for those of you interested in either the game or this universe. If you have any suggestions for other lore dives you'd like to see, please leave a comment so that I can consider it for a future video. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to the next video with all of you.
Yeah, I know for a fact that some of you guys are definitely going to like this, but as for me, I honestly doubt that this game would reach my side of the globe. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Bye! Thank you for watching, guys. Now, if you want me to check out other stories here on YouTube, please let me know in the comments. We upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 PM Eastern Standard. Please like, share, subscribe, do the whole notification button thing to help me out with the algo. And don't forget to check out our Twitch channel where you can catch me do this live. Now, class dismissed.